Hey, everybody, and welcome back to this episode of the podcast. I want to, first of all, congratulate all the teams that have been busting their butts so far this season to earn themselves spots, either paid, at large, etc., to Summit and to Worlds. Good luck to teams that are continuing to work towards getting these bids. And there's obviously a lot of big competitions that are still coming up, so it is still there's still plenty of time to earn yourself a bid if you're a team and if you're an athlete. So if you haven't gotten one yet, don't get frustrated. Stay the course. And today we're actually going to talk about things that we can focus on leading up to some of these bigger competitions at the end of the season. Additionally, we have been promoting our first Air Track giveaway. Cannot wait to give this thing away. We are actually announcing the winner tomorrow, Monday. We'll announce the winner for that. If you don't win, guys, don't get frustrated. Don't be upset. We have had such an amazing response from our community that we have decided to start to give away air tracks, tumble tracks, air strips, and things like that on a continual basis. So if you don't win this time, don't let it get you down. Don't get frustrated. Don't get upset. We will be giving another one away before Worlds and Summit. So we'll actually be giving another one away pretty soon. So stay tuned for that. So today, being the first time we've done an episode in a couple weeks, things have been a little crazy with the giveaway and with competitions and things like that. So I'm super happy to get back to an episode for you guys. And for this episode, again, I wanted to focus on things that you can use to prepare to have the best possible outcome for yourself and for your team at the last few big competitions of the year. Coming up next weekend, NCAA Nationals in Dallas, one of the biggest, if not the biggest comp in the country. Also looking ahead, we've got Summit, D2 Summit, we've got Worlds, we've got, if you're a collegiate athlete, we've got NCAA College Nationals coming. So there's just a whole lot of stuff coming up in the next couple of months, right? So our seasons are getting close to winding down. We're almost in March. And for most of us, April is April and May are the two big months. So I want to touch on a couple of things that we can focus on as athletes, as coaches, as parents of athletes, to ensure that we're giving ourselves the best possible opportunity to achieve these big goals of getting a bid if you're still looking at one, at these big comps, doing well. Because the biggest thing, guys, is, yes, winning is great. And, I'm not going to say that, if you don't win, it's terrible, right? Or there's everybody has their own personal mindset that, if you don't win, then, everything else is bad. Some coaches coach, it's not about whether you win or lose. It's all about, how you performed. And I think all of those in the right context all have a valid point. What I want to focus on with you guys are a couple of things that you can use and focus on for the next few weeks, the next few months. That's going to ensure that no matter what your philosophy is as a coach or an athlete, you're not disappointed. And that is ultimately what our goal is we don't want anyone to leave, feeling like I missed, I should have done this, I should have done that, the woulda, shoulda, couldas. And so the goal for this podcast is to introduce concepts to you guys to implement so that we don't have that disappointment of, well, if I would have done this, or I should have done that, or I wish I would have, the shoulda, coulda, woulda. So we avoid those. So number one, most important thing, leading up to these big comps, as a healthcare provider that treats and takes care of athletes of all types, but especially cheer athletes, the biggest detriment and the biggest fear for athletes and coaches at this point is injury, okay? We all know leading up to Worlds, we have, an injury that happens. It can be devastating to a program, to a team, to an athlete, to their family. I mean, it is truly devastating. And so we're still at a point in the season where if you have something that you're dealing with that's hurting you, that maybe you just injured, or even in the next few days to weeks, if you have something that comes up injury-wise, there's still enough time to get that evaluated, find a provider that can help you to get to stay on the floor. You know, just because you're hurt, it's not always something that you have to be pulled. You can't, that you're pulled from the floor and you can't compete. I personally, as a provider, I'm very liberal with what I pull cheerleaders for. You know, there's, in my mind, there's limiting injuries and non-limiting injuries. You know, you break your leg, yeah, obviously I need to limit some of the activities that you're doing so that we can heal. You know, but on the other side, there are some injuries that people may think like, oh, if I go get treated or go get seen for this, they're going to tell me I can't cheer, and that's not always the case. I mean, I have athletes that come in that, you know, as long as I feel that they're safe, even though they may have some discomfort with their activity, if they're safe to compete, I'm not going to pull them. And, you know, our goal is to help you to recover from these things, but also to keep you in sport as best we can. So if you have something that you're dealing with, there's still plenty of time to get it looked at, make sure you're not going to hurt yourself more, and come up with a plan for how you can still compete. And if you do have something and you're not really sure how to navigate that, reach out to us. I will find a provider in your area that can work with you to keep you on the floor. Okay, I will commit to that for anybody that needs it. If you need something looked at, I will find a good provider for you. On the flip side of that, this is also the best time to be working on preventing these injuries from happening in the first place. It's so easy to just roll an ankle at the end of a practice because you're tired and you've been going all season. Now is the perfect time to prevent these common injuries like our back pain, our shoulder injuries, our wrist injuries, and especially our ankles, right? Our ankle pain. We have posted tons of stuff about ankle prevention, ankle stability, and this, guys, is the perfect time if you have not implemented these strategies to start. Because the last thing you want is for your athletes, if you're an athlete, if you're a coach, your athletes, you don't want an ankle sprain right now, because those are one of those injuries that walks that line between limiting and non-limiting, like we just talked about. You know, depending on the severity of it, depending on, you know, the chronicity of it, how long ago or how frequent did this injury happen? These are a lot of factors that go into making this decision of am I gonna let this athlete compete? Like, I'm gonna sign off and say, yeah, I'm okay with them competing, or not. So instead of having to walk that line and have that fear, let's just do everything we can to prevent these ankle sprains. And it literally takes 5 minutes, maybe twice a week. That's it. If you are an athlete and you get on Instagram, which I know you do because you follow us, then you can do ankle prevention, okay? It doesn't take a lot of time. So again, injuries, now's the time to get something looked at if it's bothering you. Get a plan set in place so that it doesn't take you out for competition. And then additionally, preventing some of these things that are common injuries that happen in our sport so that we don't have that stress. Second, and almost to me equally important, is recovery, okay? You guys have been going nonstop, hardcore for the last few months, okay? You've been competing, some programs competing, you know, multiple times a month. You're having multiple practices a week for multiple hours per session. You're probably doing extra stuff, you know, tumbling, working on skills that you're trying to master. It's a lot of volume, okay? And the truth of the matter is, all that work you put in, you do not reap the benefits of the work while you're doing the work. And what I mean by that is, what you do in the gym is important, but how your body processes and assimilates all this new information is how you actually progress as an athlete. Okay? Example, right? You ever hit a skill one day, and then you go back to the next day and you try to hit that same new skill, and sometimes you can't get it. It's like, wait a second, I had it. I did it here yesterday. Why can't I do it now? Right? So the work you do is important, but it's how you recover and are able to do it again that locks these things in place. We only recover when we sleep. Okay? So like, think about pro bodybuilders, for example. You ask anybody that does bodybuilding or weightlifting or powerlifting, anything like that, they'll tell you It's not the 2 hours that they're in the gym, it's the 22 hours of things they're doing outside of the gym that make them better. It's their sleep. It's their food. Are they eating and getting proper nutrition? Are they getting enough food to fuel their activities? Are they staying hydrated? Are they drinking enough water to keep their muscles healthy so that they can then use them? Remember, your muscles are 70% water. 70% water, right? So if you are dehydrated, you're taking away what the majority of your muscles are, and those are the things you use the most in cheer. So staying hydrated is essential. Getting enough protein so your muscles recover is essential. Eating, the right amounts of fats and carbohydrates for energy so that you can compete at the highest level is very, very important. So, you look at this, making sure that you recover is extremely important, because if you're not recovering from one practice and rolling into the next practice, you're creating this cumulative effect of breakdown, no recovery, breakdown, no recovery, breakdown, no recovery. And eventually you're going to break all the way down. And that's where we have our injuries. So recovery and pre-covery is another term I love. You're preventing these things by staying hydrated, getting proper amounts of nutrition, and sleep. Sleep, guys, goodness gracious. I cannot tell you how often when I have athletes that come in and we joke about how tired they look in the office, and they're like, oh, I stayed up till like 1 in the morning playing on the phone or on Instagram or on YouTube or on Snapchat. Your body only recovers when you sleep. If you're not getting enough sleep, you could eat all the supplements in the world, you could eat all the good food in the world, you could drink all the water, but if you're not sleeping, you're not recovering. We could go on for days and days and days with data backing how important sleep is and research how important sleep is. Yes, I get it. Playing on your phone is fun. Talking to your friends online is fun. All those things are great. But what's more important? Snapchatting or Instagramming until 1 in the morning, or winning a jacket or a ring or a giant trophy at Worlds? Which means more to you as an athlete? And if that takes you any more than a heartbeat to decide, we need to reevaluate our priorities, okay? So recovery and sleep, huge, 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 and very, very important. Number 3, visualization, okay? We talked about this recently, about working through mental blocks, okay? Now, we can use this same visualization as a way to prepare ourselves for our bigger competitions. So this isn't necessarily working through a mental block or anything like that. This is more talking about just being confident with our routine, okay? So at night, when you're laying in bed about to fall asleep, I used to do this. I know a lot of athletes also do this now, but if you're not, this is a diamond. This is a gold nugget that's going to help you. If you're not running through your routine in your head before you go to sleep, you're missing the mark. You're missing a very, very valuable tool that can help you to be a better athlete, okay? There is no such thing as luck. Hitting a routine is not luck. Hitting a routine is when you are confident and able to do all the things in that routine. And confidence comes from here, from your brain, okay? When you have done something enough that your brain recognizes all of the pieces associated with that and how to react to any situation, that is where confidence comes in. So if you're not visualizing your routine to 8 counts in your head, watching yourself on the floor, counting every single thing you do, going through every single sequence, breaking it down step by step. What is the counts for your baskets? What's the counts for your pyramid? What's the counts for your tumbling? What's the counts for your dance? That is a very, very, very valuable thing as an athlete to be able to do. And we've talked about this a long time ago. I touched on it. When I competed and when I coached, and I know a lot of athletes and coaches can do the same thing, but you should be able to know, if I say what is the 4 count of the 20-second 8 count, what is the 4? It should take you no more than like 10-15 seconds to think through where you're at, or to just know where you're at in your routine. That level of ownership of your routine is paramount to a successful athlete, right? You think about football players, right? And they have their plays drawn out. And everybody knows exactly where they go at exactly what time. How many steps back does the quarterback take before he looks? Is it a 3-step drop? Is it a 5-step drop? Your running backs, how many steps are they taking? Do they do a push off? They block and push off, right? Our wide receivers, they do 5 steps, they slant, cut 2 steps to the left, and then they're whatever the case may be. Everybody knows what their position is at every point during a play. And for us, a play, quote unquote, would be a section of our routine. Where are you at exactly on the 30-second 8 count on a 6? Like, what are you doing? Whatever. So, yes, I realize that's being meticulous, but we're talking about a sport, our sport, that is fractions of points, where you can hit 0 and still be in third, right? So we're talking fractions of points. And by owning your routine to that level, you give yourself a competitive advantage over people that don't. And if you're wanting to win Worlds and Summit and Nationals, every single thing you can do is going to be helpful. So visualize, own your routine. Own it like the back of your hand. Own it. And the last thing, guys, and honestly, this is something that should be year-round, but at this point, it is probably one of the most important things you can be doing. And that's creating a stronger bond with your team. This time of year is stressful. Let's be honest, right? We're tired. A lot of athletes we're beat down. We're having, strains and sprains and ouchies and here and there. And, there may be stress of still trying to find, get bids, get teams. We have, teams that are rearranging and things like that. I mean, there are programs, you talk to other gym owners and coaches, and you have programs that, they may get a bid, and then all of a sudden they have injuries, and then now their team doesn't qualify for the bid that they earned. So now they have to get new athletes, try to earn a new bid for a team that maybe 3/4 of them have already earned one, right? You got programs that, that first of the year where they may add a team on and say, hey, we let's try to piece, another team together to get, another bid to a big comp. So there's a lot of things that are happening, and it's stressful, right? That's just the bottom line is it can be a stressful time. So the best way to deal with stress is to work together as a unit. This is a time when you cannot let stress and injuries and things like that start to create separation on your team or separation between your stunt group. Because those little bitty things, those little cracks in the wall, they can grow and fester, and they can end up toppling a great program. And so I truly urge you guys, even if you feel like you have a great relationship with your teammates, with your coaches, if you're a coach, the athletes, I encourage everyone to find a way to try to increase or up that bond. Find a way that you can connect with your stunt group, a little bit more outside of practice, whether it's a group text and you guys are, you're talking and you're, or at practice, if you're a coach, set 10 minutes aside, before each practice and have your groups get together. Have your all your flyers get together, all your bases, all your back spots. Have your stunt groups get together. If you're a co-ed team, have your guy and your girl, the partners get together. And just find a way for them to interact with one another in a way that is natural, that is stress-free, and that helps to boost and build morality and a bond on that team. Because when there's a strong bond, there's a strong level of support. And during stressful times, it's very easy to start to push blame out versus draw blame in. And if we can create a bond where instead of us pointing fingers at each other when something goes wrong, that we own up as a team, we take ownership of, yes, as a team, we may have had this drop or this thing or this timing was off, whatever, but it's not an individual, it's not always a person that we're pointing fingers at. And so the only way as a group that you can have that confidence to say, even though I'm on this side of the floor and something fell over there, that this is all of us that are in on this, is if you have a bond, strong bond, before that ever happens. And so I truly want to implore you guys to take extra time at this point of the year to re-engage with one another in a way that builds more unity in the team and in the program. And I feel like, when you look at very, very successful programs, you look at very, very successful teams, you see these little documentaries that come out every day, you can see there's strong bond between the athletes. And it's beyond just what's happening on the floor. They connect. They're there for each other. They support each other. And so at this point of the year, getting that connection is so important. So again, guys, I hope these four tips or these four subjects of focus can be beneficial for your team. It truly is a time of the year where we can still make improvements and be ready for these big things at the end of the year. Be on the lookout tomorrow for our giveaway. If you have a team or an athlete, or if you're a coach and you have a parent, whatever, and there's a team that you feel would benefit from the information that we presented in this episode, please share it with them. We want everyone to do well at competition. Whether you walk away with a gold medal or you walk away with a golden experience, the truth of the matter is it's all about having a time that you look back on and that you're proud of. So I appreciate you guys for joining us. Look forward for our giveaway tomorrow, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Bye-bye.